Imagine it is a field at the edge of thought, not a stadium, not a road, not quite wilderness either. Grass, pressed flat by frost, mud holding yesterday's rain, like a secret it refuses to give back. Into this field comes a bicycle with no capacity for mercy. The chain is a sentence that never ends. The pedals do not pause to consider doubt. Every rotation insists on consequence. Dostoevsky would recognise this immediately. He would see in the fixed gear not a preference but a confession. A refusal to coast is a refusal to lie. Motion here is moral. You move because you choose to move, you stop because you failed to keep choosing. Tracklocross unfolds where comfort runs out of vocabulary. The ground interrupts intention. The tyres argue with the rider. Nothing is smooth enough to forget yourself on. This is important. Forgetting oneself was always the real sin. The rider enters the field, believing in autonomy. They leave understanding responsibility. Mud does not flatter. It drags at the wheels, gathers around the fork crown, weighs down even the cleanest ambition. Dostoevsky loved this kind of humiliation. Not the theatrical kind, not the kind that begs for applause, but the quiet collapse of pride when no one is watching. The fall that teaches nothing except accuracy. Here suffering is not redemptive by default. It does not promise transcendence. It simply refuses to disappear. You must negotiate with it, pedal by pedal, breath by breath. This is the suffering Dostoevsky trusted. The kind that strips away abstraction and leaves only the question, what will you do next? There are no spectators to rescue meaning, no crowd to confirm that the effort was noble. Tracklocross mostly happens in peripheral vision. Along riverbanks, frozen commons, forgotten paths that exist only because someone once insisted on going through them. Dostoevsky would nod at this obscurity. He distrusted morality, performed under lights. The rider is alone but not isolated. The body speaks constantly, loudly, without metaphor. Legs burn, lungs rasp, hands numb. The machine answers every signal instantly. No gears to negotiate blame, no suspension to soften the verdict. The dialogue is brutal, but it is fair. In Dostoevsky's world, freedom was never light. It was heavy, frightening, almost unbearable. Tracklocross carries the same weight. You can ride anywhere, but nowhere easily. Choice exists, but every choice is felt. Freedom here does not feel like flight. It feels like work. And yet, there is joy. Not happiness. Joy is quieter, sharper, earned late. It arrives when cadence settles into something stubborn, when balance stops asking permission, when the rider realises they are not conquering the terrain but consenting to it. This is not mastery, it is alignment. Communities form around this without declaring themselves. A shared tolerance for cold fingers and bad ideas, a recognition exchanged over steaming cups of mud-stroked frames. No ideology, only mutual acknowledgement. Yet this is difficult. Yes, we choose it anyway. Dostoevsky would warn against turning this into identity. He would distrust the badge, the posture, the pride of endurance. Suffering, chosen to feel superior, becomes another lie. But suffering, chosen to remain awake to the self, to resist the sleep of automation, that he would allow. Tracklocross does not save anyone. It does not solve despair. It does not redeem the world. It simply insists that if you're going to move through life, you do so engaged, exposed, answerable. The rider dismounts at dusk, mud drying into maps of effort, the body tired in a way that feels precise rather than empty. Nothing has been proven, nothing has been resolved, but something has been faced, and tomorrow the pedals will still turn, only if asked to.